Guys, lesson 2, slope intercept form. So here's the difference. Now, you're still going to need to find slope. That's not going to change, right? You still need to find the slope, which is the m in the equation. But now you also need to find the y-intercept. Hence the name slope intercept form. Okay, once you find those two numbers, you have the equation of that line. So here's how it works. Slope intercept form tells you where the number touches the y-axis. So in this case, it's at 2. So 1, 2. That's the y-intercept. Your slope tells you which way the line is moving. So in this case, since we talked about negatives go down and then over, you use that slope to count down 1 over 3. There's your next point. You can do it a couple times. You can go again, down 1 over 3. As many points as you want, actually. And then you connect your points, and you have the line. Now, sometimes there will be numbers missing. Like if there is no b, that means that it's starting at 0. So you would start in the middle of the graph. But this one starts at 3. So 1, 2, 3. But this is missing a number. It's missing slope. But technically it's not missing. If you don't see a number in front of x, put a 1 there. Okay? So your slope is 1. And if you want to turn it into a fraction, you can put it over 1. So your slope is 1 over 1. Now, if there's just like the number 5, it's a 5 over 1. If it was the number 3, it would be a 3 over 1. But if there is no number there, you can put a 1. So my slope goes up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So I'm not even drawing the rise and run anymore. I'm just counting up 1 over 1. And then I connect them. And there's my line. Okay, so that's how you graph it, starting with the y-intercept and then counting the slope. Now, if they ask you to write the equation, you have to find that information. So the easiest is with a graph. If you have a graph, you count, okay, what is the y-intercept? That's at 4, positive 4. So the b is a positive 4. If it was a negative 4, it would have been down here. Now the slope, to count the slope, again, down and over, down and over. And I just count that. How much did it go down? 1. How much did it go over? 2. So my slope is a fraction, negative 1 over 2. And guys, that's it. That's my equation. All right, now that's graphing. What if there is no graph? Okay, if there is no graph, you have to use the formula again, the slope formula, the one we talked about earlier. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. I'm going to do this a little faster. So these are my x and y2. If you're not sure how I'm doing this, go back and look at the first lesson. And then 3 minus negative 3. So y minus y, x minus x. I get negative 4. This becomes positive over 6. I simplify that. That is negative 2 over 3. That's my slope. All right. Now, I found my slope. I have my m. I now have to find the b. So let's talk about how we're going to do that. All right. When you're using slope intercept, you can write down the information you have, negative 2 over 3x, but you're missing the b. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the coordinates that they gave me. They gave me 2 coordinates. I'm going to use this one. The first one they gave me. Now, the reason I'm going to use it is because, guys, this is an x and a y. Coordinates are x's and y's. And what you can do with these numbers is you can plug them in. So I can take the x, negative 3, and I can plug in a negative 3 in here. I could take the y, positive 3, and put that positive 3 over here. And now the only thing that's missing is the b, which is what I need. I need a number for b. I need the y-intercept. So now, because these two numbers are next to each other, I have to multiply these two. Negative 2 over 3 times negative 3. I got to multiply them. But this isn't a fraction, so I'm going to put this over 1. All right, so I get negative 2 times negative 3. That's a positive 6. Negative times negative. But the bottom is 3 times 1 over 3. I simplify this, I get 2. So now this looks like this. 3 equals 2 plus b. All right, if I'm solving for b, I got to use inverse operations because I want the b by itself. So I'm going to cancel out that 2. Now, whatever's left is just equal to b. What's 3 minus 2? 1. So my final answer for my linear equation is y equals negative 2 over 3x plus 1. And that's how I write slope-intercept form. I have to find the b. All right, so if they ask you to write an equation, you have to find slope first, but then you have to plug in a point to find b. Last thing for this, word problems. Now, when it comes to word problems, if you're using y equals mx plus b, what you should look for is you should look for a starting point. Okay, the b has to be a starting point. And the m is the rate of change. It's how either it will go up or down. Whatever you're starting from could increase or it could decrease. Now in this case, Mike rents a truck. He pays $35 for the day plus 25 cents per mile. So you have to think of this logically. What would be the starting price? What is the starting price for this? $35 a day. So this would be your B. Because it's not going to change. You're going to pay $35 up front. What's going to change is the miles you're driving, because they're going to charge you 25 cents per mile. Now, if we make X the miles, you would multiply those miles by 25 cents. And it could be a fraction or a regular whole number, but that's my slope. That is my rate of change. And usually it's when you see the per mile, $0.25 per 1 mile. It's the rise over the run. It's the change of y over the change of x. So whenever you see per, that's usually going to tell you your slope. And guys, that's the equation. Now if I asked you how much is it going to cost if we drive 20 miles, or if we drive 40 or 50 miles, all you would do is plug in the miles. So let's say I was going to drive 100 miles, right? I would plug in 100 miles in for x to calculate how much it would cost me. Multiply these two, I get 25 plus 35. So if I drove this truck 100 miles that day, they're going to charge me $60. Okay, so that's what you're looking for with the word problems.